Morning, painters and decorators of the interweb. Guess who this is? Yes, it's your local friendly painter and decorator, known as Phil Beckwith, the professional painter and decorator. Back with a riveting wallpapering video. It's just a feature wall, but we don't do things by halves, do we? Phil Beckwith, the professional painter and decorator, has got a reverse alternate length feature wall wallpaper to hang. So let's have 15 seconds break intro and let's talk you through it. So see you in a few. Right, here we are again. We've got a wallpaper. I mean, if you can just see the colour of that wallpaper, it's one of those papers that you could have emulsioned the wall, but we don't want the emulsion wall effect. We wanted a wallpaper effect. Now this is a non-woven, which means it's paste the wall, and reading the instructions, I've got, I don't know whether you can see that there. You see that? I've got a paste the wall emblem. I've got the light fast, I've got the washable, well, scrubbable, washable, wipeable, and just there you've got two arrows, one up, one down. That means it's a reverse alternate lengths, and then next to it I've got a 0 and an arrow to it. Can you see that? Which means it's a free, random, no pattern match, so straight through. Don't have to join it up. So this is an easy one to do, as long as you know which is your A and B. Now if you want to know about reverse alternate lengths wallpaper, I've done a video there a few month ago, can't remember now. So you can see that video there, but this one I'm going to do as a quick video on doing, I'll stand back, it's just one feature wall. Can you see that there? The rest of the walls have been painted in Purbeck stone, which is a Farrenball colour. We've lined the wall, so it's a nice even sound surface, and you know the reasons why you line walls. To make a nice clean sound insulated surface for putting quality wallpaper on. And if you read the instructions, it advises putting lining paper on, which we've done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure out on the wall where the lengths are going to go, because this is a dark colour, and I'm going to put some bands of emulsion down for where the joints are going to fall. So if you want the basics of hanging a wallpaper on a feature wall, what I'm going to do is, there's a corner, there's a corner, there's a corner behind my shoulder there, and I'm going to find the middle and then work from the middle either side and get me balance of the wallpaper. So I'm not starting at one end and finishing at another and finding out I've got a little strip at one side, because I don't want that. It's always good to get into the habit of measuring out your walls, because if you did start in that corner there and did a full, let's put it there. If I did a full, let's try and get that there. If I did a full drop all the way along, starting in a corner and then get to the other end, and I'm only using a fraction of paper, a little strip, that doesn't look good. Whereas if I start from the middle, and my other video I've done, was it last week, is there, paper in a feature wall, where you find the middle and you can either balance it by putting the paper roll in the middle, or you can do the edges of your paper on either side of the middle line of the plumb line. So yeah, I tell you what, let me measure it all out, see where my fall's going to be, and then we'll put some bands down and I'll come back to you later. Be a quick one, this one, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, hopefully. That measured up at 3 meters 940. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find the middle now of that wall and get a line down it using my laser liner. So back within a second. Right, this is another paper that, if you can see, I've got my laser liner out and I found the middle of the wall. But what I don't want to be doing is, because this is a random pattern match, there's no pattern match to it, I should be getting 4 drops to a roll. This is a 10 point standard 10.05 meter roll. Now, all being well, 4 drops, not using much waste at the top and bottom. 4 drops, I'm going to actually need 8 lengths. Now how I'm working it so I can utilise the best use of the paper. Instead of hanging the paper, if that's the middle line there, and that measured up at 1.97 either side, instead of hanging the paper to that edge there, I'm going to do what I've done on a previous video, where you find the middle of the paper. There you go, roughly, it's roughly there. Find the middle of the paper and the first length will be hung like that. Not like that to the middle, but like that to the middle. That means that we'll call it A's and B's. So an up and a down, right. This will be an upright, because it's reverse alternate lengths. This will be an A length. Then I come to turn the roll round, i.e. I'll cut the strips off, turn the roll round, and the next one there will be a B, because it's a reverse. Then an A, then a B, then I've got a strip of about 5 inches at the side that will be an A. Now what that's going to mean, because I've hung halfway of the roll, I'm going to come all the way across this side with exactly the same A's and B's, finishing with a strip at that end of about the same size, 5 inches, whatever it is, as an A, which means I can use the same length, that side and that side. Now it's paste the wall, and I'll cut it down to size. That will be the left hand good edge, the opposite end will be a right hand good edge, and that's how I'm going to do it. So it's quite straightforward. Just make sure you know whether it's an A or a B, rotating them round, and you should be fine. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mark it up where the lengths are going to fall, put some Purbeck stone as a background colour, so the joints, if they slightly move open or the wall slightly out and you get a bit of grinning through the lining of the lining paper, you won't see it with the Purbeck stone. I've probably spoke about this before, and I've done it on my Instagram. If anybody's seen any of my photos on the Instagram, when I'm doing dark papers, always put a band of emulsion, not vinyl silk or anything, not heavy vinyl, just a band of emulsion, not wide, just a few inches, 3 inches, just so if the joints do creep open, you're not going to see the lining paper underneath. Does that make sense? Should do. So alright, see you in a bit. I'll do some stills of the bands on it, then I'll crack on with the wallpapering and show you at the end. I don't need to show you how to do wallpapering, that's on previous videos. So yeah, job's a good one. Another one, feature wall, enjoying it, loving it, living the dream, living the dream. Comments, bell, see you in a bit. Got my special specs on so I can see the laser line. I know where the joint's going to go because the laser's there. And there you have it, you do that all the way along. Everywhere that you know that you've got a joint, just put a band of emulsion down, and the laser liner will keep me top to bottom so I know where that joint will be. So dead easy, innit? Learning from the experts. Right, you professional painters and decorators, wallpaperers, hangers, slingers, whatever you want to call it. While I've been away, I've marked up all the walls. You saw a little bit of a speed clip, just putting the bands down. Now, as I was telling you, I was hanging actually from the middle with the paper being in the middle. So I'll just tell you how I've done that, just to recap. That width is 530 millimeters, 53 centimeters. So half of that, write it on the wall, do your maths. 53, half of that's 26 and a half. So from the actual middle of the wall that I'd got there with the laser, I've gone 26 and a half across, and I've now adjusted the laser accordingly. So that, if you can just see that with the laser, I can see it. Just there is the laser liner I'm going to hang to. Now I know a lot of people will say, oh, use a plumb bob, use a plumb bob. Yeah, if you want to use a plumb bob, but the laser's there permanently. Look, it's not having to be put up by me and it's swinging around like a pendulum, swing like a pendulum, do Westminster Abbey 2 by 2. You know that song? Yeah. I don't know whether that's the words. So what I've done, I've just got the pencil and I'll use this as my pointer. Top to bottom, I've just marked a little bit of a line all the way down. So when I do take away the laser liner, I've still got a mark to work to. Now, the other thing that was picked up on when I did the reverse alternate lengths before, I hung off the roll. So this time, for a change, because you can do it either way, I've actually cut the lengths ready, just to show that you can do it. And I was listening to other people because obviously they wanted to see it being done. So I measured up the height of the ceiling to the skirting. That measured up at 2.27 meters. So I've allowed 100. So I've measured off 237. So 2,370 millimeters, 2.37. I've measured that. That does me lovely 4 rolls. 4 rolls, that'd be ace, wouldn't it? That does me 4 lengths to a roll, which is nice because I need 8 lengths. So on the board, I've got them already cut, and at the top, I've marked each one as a top. Now I've got to remember, when I come here, that's going to be a top, which I call A. At the side is going to be a B. At the side there is going to be a B. And it works A, B, all the way along. Now I've marked it on the actual wall, so I know. So that's an A, a B. I'm telling you all the basics, aren't I? A, B, and then it'll be a strip at the end that's an A length, which will be a top, a straightforward top to bottom. Now that strip will also come in the other side, so the width of the paper will be cut down, and I've got a good edge for both sides. So there we go. For now, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to get a length on. Just quickly talk you how I've done it, because I'm going to go round the sockets, because this is a new build. You know what they've done? They've sealed round the sockets with cork. Oh, I can't be doing with it. But for this, it's a feature wall just for a temporary design. When it's done, I'm going to be putting some of those wooden strips, you know, the fashionable wooden strips that's trendy at the moment. That'll be a design feature. So I'll do that on another video. But for now, this is paper in a feature wall. And actually the feature wallpaper is just a plain, it's like a flat metallic-y, that's a bit of an oxymoron, a flat metallic, but you know what I mean. So there we are. I'll come back, I'll get a couple on, and then I'll just talk you through where I am and then show you it finished. Brilliant. Thanks, Leslie. Welcome back. It's not been long since I spoke to you. Had those lengths cut on the board. I've got the tricky ones out the way now. Centre one is the upright. The two either side are the reverse. You can probably just see where I've just wiped down the joints with a damp sponge, not over rubbing. You don't want to scrub it. It has got the 3 wave, meaning a decent scrubbable, wipeable wallpaper finish on the actual label, but we still don't want to over rub it and polish it. So carefully doing the joints, had a seam roller on it, just get them down, got them up as tight as I can. Do we say tight as a duck's backside? Tight as nun's knickers. That's the one that somebody says to me, tight as nun's knickers. I've never seen nun's knickers, but I don't know what they mean, tight as nun's knickers. Anyway, those are on. I've got 1 length left on the board, which I'm going to now cut from to do the 4 lengths off the new roll. So there we have it. That's gone straightforward, really. I'll get you on there. The bands are nicely matching up. That's just taken off that stark lining paper colour on the joints just there. And what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to cut the lengths and get these last ones on. Then I'll come back to you and just explain about the last cut down strips. So there'll be 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a strip. So I'll get those on because I don't want to bore you with that. I don't want to do zoom, fast forwarding. It's like Benny Hill. But what I will say to you is, I've not taken these sockets off because it's on a new build and they've corked them round and they're sealed in. That doesn't mean you still can't get nice, neat cuts. I think they're really neat cuts. Found the corners as you do, cut to them nicely. I've had a spare scalpel blade, snap off blade, just to help me get the sharp pin corners. Used the shears, got them down, and I've got them really tight. And then just used a proper metal straight edge to do the cuts across the top, and they are sharp lines on those, really nice. The beauty with the laser liner, I've come over a socket and down a socket. The laser liner helped me keep that line, so that matching up to the A to the B has been spot on. So I'm really pleased, and I'll see in a bit when I've got more on it. We're on the last leg, should we say the last leg? Right, cheerio. Might have my dinner in a minute. Might do. We'll see. Here we go, we're nearly done. Nearly done. Morning's work. Now I've just got the last strips to do. And as we've measured from the middle and measuring half the width of the paper, you know, dropping it down the middle, I've got as good as 5 inches top to bottom, and the same this side. I've got 5 inches as well, which is what I wanted. Now if you've got a pattern paper that's got a definite feature pattern to it, that's why you want to be doing this way of papering a feature wall from the middle. Whether you use half the paper and offset it that way, or 5 inches there, 5 inches that side, 5 inches that side, means to me you'll have a balanced patterned paper when you come to do your papering. So that's that. I'm going to cut some strips off the paper now, probably cut them at 6 inches wide off the left and right edge, and because these are a vertical A, not a reverse, they'll go on nicely. So there we are. Once I've done those, I'll finish off. Just make this simple for you. This is why I go on about Mickey Mouse paste tables and picnic tables, and always have a decent paste table that's got, I'm coming down, a decent sharp edge, because when you offer up your paper with a good edge against it, that's your guide. So I need a length or strip of paper off this paper at 5 inches. Now I'm going to call it 6 inches, so I'm just going to mark it off at 6 inches. It doesn't have to be too precise because I'm cutting it down. So I work in inches on this metric. Oh, right. So I just put my finger, and that'll be the guide against the paste table, and that's at 6 inches. And then the idea is the pencil goes across there and I come all the way down. So you'll have to trust me because you can't see it on this camera until I get a bit further down. I've marked off, my fingers pressing against the side of the board. I've got the proper boxwood, it's not boxwood, it's plastic, but these used to be boxwood rulers, meter ruler, and I'm using that as the guide. My pencil's against the edge, and you'll see me go all the way top to bottom, just at 6 inches, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. The edge of the board is the guide. Now I've got a nice line there, 6 inches. Need to go a bit more, so draw it up. Draw it up. Line up the edge of the paper again with the board. Mark it off at 6 inches. You know where your pencil's been before, and then bring it all the way down. And then all you've got to do is just cut that line. And it doesn't matter if you don't go to that line. I'm not needing a sharp, crisp edge on that, because I'm only cutting down a length of paper. And this is how you get that. A cut down piece of paper, and I've got that at 6 inches. And I'm only going to be needing 5 inches on the wall. So there we go, I can do it. Ta-da! 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 So there's the piece that I need, and then I'll get these on and then we'll finish off. So thank you for listening to that, how to cut down a length of paper to a width. Well, there we go, my lovelies. Look at this. All done. Morning's work. I'm not going to ask you how much you charge for a morning's work. It's rude. But there we go. I put those last strips in, 5 inches. Made sure I got the good edge. Let's get into the light. And literally, it's just there to there. Use my straight edge did the cuts for the corners and down, got it down nicely, used my spatula, used my hanging brush as well, because I like to use both. And then same the other end. Now you can just see it, see these bands, that's where I've got the joints, and I've just gently sponged them down with some warm water so they'll dry out. The original one, if you look, the original one in the middle's starting to dry, so we're nearly there with it. So just to recap, feature wall done. Let's see if we can get you on. Wide angle like that, feature wall, you can see the joints where they're drying now. Tomorrow they'll be lovely. But started in the middle, measured half of the roll of wallpaper, and then measured the 26.5 from the middle so I could get a centre drop, and then worked off that, either left or right, whatever you prefer to do. It was a lined wall. Now what do you do once you've got a lined wall? You always just give it a nib down like I did. I didn't show you doing that, but just check to make sure there's no bristles or anything that could be just under that lining paper. So you always just check over your lining paper before you put your finished paper on. And this was a non-woven paste the wall, so quite simple. Cutting at the top with a 3-inch, 2.5, 3-inch, nice Eco Union brush, and then a medium pile, not too long, not too short, roller. And I'm using, I mean, I say about being sponsored by Porsche and people like that giving me sponsorship. I ought to be sponsored by Wix, because we use Wix paste ever such a lot. Wix paste really good, and it's done this. So that's it, straightforward. Feature wall and hanging correctly, working left to right, right to left from the centre. And as I've said previously in this video, if you've got a definite pattern, always balance between top and bottom, left to right, and see what it looks like before you start getting it on. Because there's nothing worse than starting at one side, working your way all the way to the end, and realising you're putting a strip in, and then you stand back at the door like I am now, and you can see a definite pattern in your paper that makes it look amateurish, shall I say. So if you hang from the middle on a feature wall like this, or a chimney breast, find the middle and then work either side of that. And as I said on a previous video, your pattern on a paper might not always be centered either in the middle of the paper or at the edges. Draw off a length of the paper and have a look at it and stand back and go, is that definite pattern on the left, on the right of the edges, or in the middle? It might be staggered. Well, if that's the case, look at it and think, do I need to find the middle of the paper pattern, and then work from that? But that's what you sleep on. That's what you look on YouTube the night before you do any papering. Just check. But there we are. We've done and dusted it. Thanks for listening to me. We're probably 20 minutes on this, but I quite like a 20-minute video. Dead easy. And now I'm on to my next one. So, another room. Bye for now. Comments, press the like, subscribe. Nearly 2,000 subscribers. Doing well. Thank you. Not got me Porsche yet though. No, not got me Porsche.